Hello to everyone. Hello to you all. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you all here in attendance today and participating. If you are looking for the training for identifying and having clarity on your ideal clients using your human design chart, then I have good news for you. You're in the right place. This is a topic that has been highly anticipated because I have asked a number of people, and any of the individual work I've done, this is always a very potent topic. And so I listen as far as what kind of training you guys want to have. And so this is what we're going to be discussing today. So to get everybody involved and have this be as interactive as possible, since this training is going to involve your charts. So if you don't have your charts put up already, please do that so you can reference your chart as we're going through the training today. Also comment in the chat if you're watching this live right now, or if you're catching this on a replay later. That's helpful to me when I go through the comments, and I know when you've watched this most recently. Also, while you're pulling your charts up, you could comment what's your human design type. What's your human design type? Maybe you're a 3-5. Are you a 6-2, a 1-3 like myself, 4-6 perhaps? What's your type? And you can also include your incarnation cross as well. And in the spirit of collaborating with our businesses and being entrepreneurial together, you can also include in the comments links to your social media so other people can check out what you're doing. I'll look at it as well. And so just share any links that you have in the comments before we get started. All right, without further ado, the topic of clearly defining your audience, meaning your client specifically, of who is within your audience and how to have more clarity on who exactly they are. And the punchline first of this training is that it has more to do with defining yourself and having clarity in yourself, who you are, what it is you have to offer, and then everything else kind of falls into place. So that's will be an outcome of what we cover in a practical sense. So first topic is going to be how to do that, how to clearly define who your clients are. And then we'll go into the practicals, some more practical tips on how to do this. And then I'll also cover some examples. So again, wonderful to have you all here and to participate, and it means a lot to me. Okay, let's see, I do screen share. And we'll get into it. Okay, so another welcome and the orientation for this 45 minutes that we'll be here today together. We'll go to 4:45 Central Time. So who this training is for, it's for human design entrepreneurs, those who are using human design to be themselves more, and then specifically using it in their businesses. It's also for people who have had enough generic coaching, meaning that you've got a lot of good traditional coaching, but you're ready for it to be more personalized to you. So it feels like you, it feels genuine. Who this training is not for, it's not for, if you're not a business owner or you're not using human design, it may not be relevant to you. And it's also if you're not wanting to clearly define your target clients or increase your monthly revenue, because that's ultimately the trajectory of once you're clear on who your clients are, then you attract more clients to you, and that results in increased revenue. And any business owner wants to increase more revenue. If they're not, then, I'm not sure what exactly the aim is. So what's in this for you is you'll learn new ways to understand exactly who your clients are using your human design chart. And there's a special offer at the end for participants. If you're attending this event right now, whether you're watching live or on the replay later, it'll be available to you. So this is a special offer to work one-on-one with guidance for the 12-week Human Design Entrepreneurs Roadmap that's focused on you and your business. And then for people who aren't quite ready to get started yet, but I will encourage you, if you're just on the fence, let's have at least a messenger conversation and see if this would be a good time for you. Otherwise, I've got some really excellent bonuses for you that are some resources and guides I've put together, the Clarity Roadmap that we'll be going over together, and then a few guides, and then some workbooks on marketing by design. All right, so I already mentioned the 3 topics. The planetary symbols is where some good clues and insights aspected by your gates are for what you're all about, and then what specifically you can offer as help for your clients in terms of solving a problem for them. Define the practicals, and then I'll give some examples. About the Human Design Entrepreneurs community, this is what I see as being a new paradigm of business. It's really only been the last few years, I think, that it was possible to be doing something like this, that we're all pioneering together. And I wasn't sure when I founded this community in 2021 if there would be a lot of interest in it, but sure enough, there was quite a bit. So it's grown to 1.6 thousand members, all people who are using human design to become more entrepreneurial. Mutuality is also a core component of this community, and it's what I refer to as outgrowing the polarity of being superior or inferior to anybody else, of not feeling better or worse than anyone. It's a long time coming. It's so much has been about leader or follower. And so I coined this as a new era of personal leadership, but with collaboration and mutual trust for people who can support you in what it is you're doing. Or you might see it as an individual awakening. Human design is really the science of individuation, it's called a lot of times, but how to do that within the heart of a community, which is what we're all doing here, and I'm sure you're all doing in your individual lives as well. Speaking of empowering individuals, this is a good phrase from Dolly Parton, who says, "Find out who you are and do it on purpose." Comment Dolly Parton if this quote resonates with you, because I see that purpose is also a core fundamental theme of what a lot of people are seeking. It's always going to be including the previous era of self-knowledge and knowing who you are, but I see it so much more as about finding your purpose and following that. This one is I'm particularly fond of because I don't like dogma at all. So Steve Jobs has a great phrase of reminding us, don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Comment Steve Jobs if this one resonates with you as well. I'd like to point out this post from a few days ago. I found it compelling that it's funny, but it's lost sometimes to, especially in terms of dogma and orthodoxy that can go along with how you're supposed to do human design or doing it correctly or doing it right. But it's called human design as an experiment, not a human design get it right every single time. And so in the spirit of this training, I want to remind you that it's an experiment and there's not necessarily going to be a clear answer on everything. It's an ongoing discovery process as an experiment. I also wanted to bring your attention to this particular post in the group because of another ethos of the Human Design Entrepreneurs community is for it to be a place for people to collaborate and to meet each other who are also doing similar things, who are like-minded, like-hearted. So this is from a day or two ago. And if you go onto this post, and you can comment your incarnation cross and find people who might want to collaborate with you. The quick call to action, if you're a manifestor, comment below, let me know. This is your place to initiate. You can get started right now by commenting on this particular post or in this chat, is just getting into the rhythm of initiating the process. Manifesting generators, you can respond by, and there's an initiatic component to manifesting generators, by initiating action, by commenting on this post in the group, commenting right now and getting the flow of responding to things that resonate with you. Comment below if you're a generator as well. Here on this particular post, you can respond to life by commenting. And projectors, if you're waiting for an invitation, which I know we often are, this here is your recognition and your invitation to collaborate with people in this community. And then finally, reflectors, you can consider this your community of people and get involved. All right, I've said this before, but pull up your chart, put chart in the chat. Chart if you have your chart with you, because you're going to be able to reference it. And I love really astute questions that are specific. Sometimes if it's a general question, like, you know, how do I attract the right clients or define the right clients or have clarity? It's like, it's a vague question, but if it's a specific question of it's personal to you, this is a particular theme of a gate that I have, this is a particular problem that I have right now, how can I solve this? I love those questions. All right, this is a quick story of how I've grappled with the community aspect and everything that's gone into creating this community so far. And it's this term Ubuntu. You may not have heard it before, but if you have, I would love to know. Let me know in the comments. Ubuntu, if you've heard of it, and unity. So this term Ubuntu came to me a while ago. And I've always had this problem with unity because it seems to be devoid of individuality and being yourself. So it's this problem of am I my individual identity, or am I my identity within a group setting? And this sets up what I call a triadox, because I contemplated paradoxes for so long, and that just didn't seem to have any answers in it. There's always some third unseen emergent property out of a paradox. So you have these two things that are seemingly unmergeable. I couldn't, I'm like, am I individual? Am I my group? And I've been very trapped by both of them, like being too individual and too much in a group dynamic as well. So the triadox is got individual identity and the group identity. They cannot merge, so both of them are true. And it's this process of not compromising your individual sense of self, your individual identity, to then merge with the homogeneity of group dynamics. So it's maintaining your personal sovereignty and also being part of a group. So Ubuntu, it's intergenerational from humanistic philosophy in South Africa, re-emerged though after the apartheid in the 1990s. And it translates in a few ways to I am because you are. Or a person is a person because of other people. And I found this really profound. To translate it to some roots of my own, because I've traveled a bit abroad, but ultimately I'm I call old school American. And so this term e pluribus unum, of the original ethos around 1776, which interestingly enough, that was the 1781 was the previous split in the human design chart. And so that was a big awakening for humanity when it was this profound proclamation of I'm an individual and I'm going to pursue my own individual rights and freedoms, and every individual is divine in their own right. So e pluribus unum is something that kind of resonated with me. So it means out of many, one, or one out of many. So again, it's two things that are unmergeable, but this is something I wanted to kind of put out there for people to stir up in their hearts and minds of when you focus on yourself and define yourself, then everything else becomes clear for your clients. Because if you're unclear, you're the foundation of everything. So if you're unclear, then your clients are going to be unclear. If you're not sure what you're offering, your clients aren't really going to know what you're offering either. Okay, so what is similar and what is different? That's the training and the work, so to speak, the inner work comes into play. Is like, what is clear in yourself that you love doing, that you're passionate about? And I'll tell you right now that if you're not passionate about it, that's the key to sustainability in business. It's this unrelenting fire of life passion that you are so deeply compelled to do it that it transcends any sense of work or effort. It just is something that you have to do. Like it's a deep need for you to evolve and to do the work that you're doing. So what is that about you? And then what is it about your clients that might be different? So kind of comparing and contrasting. That's what we'll be doing a little bit of as we proceed. Defining your ideal target audience. So this is my suggestion: define yourself first. So it's something that, okay, I know a number of people can be opposed to this at first. That's why I offer this training of, they don't necessarily want to put themselves in a box or a label or limit themselves in any way. But what I suggest, or in projector guidance advice fashion, if you're asking me through this, attending this training, if you don't do these things for yourself and say, this is who I am, this is what I do, other people, in addition to not being sure what you do or how you do it, they'll try to define it for you. So example, if you want to be more of a guide, in the capacity of a guide, you may not do like traditional coaching and hand-holding and doing the work for people type of thing. Not that you can't do that. That's a very much needed skill to kind of be coached through things. But other people are going to look to you maybe for coaching if you're not defining it yourself. So a one-sentence statement is something that you could prepare, and you can even type this in the chat right now and let me know what it is you kind of have in a 1 or 2 sentence statement. What I use is, I refer to myself as a specialist in human design. I guide coaches, educators, and creatives to grow their business using their human design charts with the 90-day roadmap. So the outcome here is that, again, this theme, when you clarity on yourself, then clarity with your clients follows. All right, now I'm going to be moving into the chart. This is to familiarize you with the properties of the chart itself. I know you're familiar with it, but this is going to be some specific topics here that have to do with the planetary symbols. So on the I'll direct your attention to the left side. The planetary symbols in red relate to your life. That has to do with this life in this current incarnation, and there's 14 of them. You might see 13 on your chart right now, but you have to run a chart with Chiron. I include that in there. So 14, including Chiron. And then on the soul side, or the symbols that are black, this relates to your ongoing evolution and your soul purpose. There's 14 on this side as well. So these are have each one of them have the numbered gates in them. And that's what I'm going to be pointing out on this next slide, is what each one of those gates means, because that's the kind of the how, is like, what does it mean? And what is the planetary theme? How does that influence the gate theme as well? So there's multiple things going on at once. In this example, I'll be referencing the moon gates. So you can play along, and in the chat, let everyone know what your moon gates are using this example. So here on the left side, you can see it's a crescent moon shape, and it's gate 14. It's 14.6. So comment what yours is, your life purpose moon gate. Gate 14 in this example, and it's important to note here that I have quantum human design, that's QHD. The term for that is creation, and the term in traditional human design is power skills. I tend to go more these days with the quantum human design themes. So gate 14 is the gate of creation, and then 0.6, that it shows you which profile line it expresses itself through. So it's the 6-line profile. So it's the gate of creation. So there's kind of 3 layers here of what drives, this happens in my chart. So what drives me in my life, because the moon is all about the cycle of drive and inertia and the cycles. So passion, and it expresses itself through the 6-line profile. So it would come across as more of a role model type of adept expression or energy, if you will. Conversely, now comment what is your moon gates on the sole purpose side, or singular moon gate. So in this example for mine, it's gate 30. And in quantum human design, it's the gate of passion. Traditional human design, it's the gate of desire. Again, it's also 0.6. So any of those decimals, if you're not sure what those are, or you've been wondering, the decimals have to do with the profile lines 1 through 6. So it's another good example of why or how you have all the chart. So you may be a 3-5 or a 6-2 or a 1-3, but you have the influence of all the profile lines throughout all of your gates. Yeah. Okay, the planetary symbols continued. This is where we're going to start to traverse into what does this mean for having clarity on your clients. Broadly and simply put, there's a lot of technical aspects of the chart and the practicals that are going to be on the next slides, but it's really about relationships of connections that you have with people that know you. That's what leads to trusted clients that you're able to provide a service for. But I see this in, whether it's for you, of what you value and appreciate in relationships, that comes through in the Venus themes. And then it's also useful to know what is it that is, what do your clients also value and appreciate about relationships as well. So that's a process of understanding them at kind of a deeper, more fundamental level. And then this, it can get into masculine, feminine, yin yang dynamics, but I'm not going to get into that too much. You can use your imagination, but it's a complementary, dynamic. And it also points out that everyone's got yin and yang energy in their charts. So if you go one further down, and comment as well, so you're learning as we go of what are your Venus, life purpose Venus gates with the decimal points, and then your soul purpose Venus gates as well. And then do the same thing. So you're following along with the Mars gates. And this one, it gets into the core of what it is you do in your business, because it's ultimately about people coming to you with a particular specific challenge. They may not even know what it is. And that's something you can offer them, is like help them identify what it is their challenge is. Self-awareness being a core principle of that, of knowing what your own challenges are. So that's the theme of Mars, is challenges, youthful lessons, things you're here to learn. And it's funny, the layers of this, of a lot of times, whatever is a challenge for you. Richard Rudd talks about this quite a bit in his work with the unconscious Mars being a core vocation type of gate, that when you really sink into and relax into that, of like, okay, this isn't really a problem. It's something, it's a gift that I have to learn. And once you start to learn that and develop a level of mastery over it, that's when you can really shine and offer that to other people. So in this example, gate 21 is my unconscious Mars. It's the gate of self-regulation, or regulation of resources or treasurers. So that's why I love to help people with their business. It's mutually beneficial. It helps me just as much. And then on the soul purpose side, conscious Mars, gate 35, it's the gate of experience or change. And so I feel this very deeply. And then if it's something I haven't experienced or done myself, then it's not something that I'm necessarily going to guide people through specifically. So I like to meet the experience myself to then be able to offer that specific guidance. Okay, this is where it all kind of comes full circle. So everything that we covered on the previous slide is off to the left. On the right here is the so what. The so what of what this actually means and how you can take this away to go, okay, this is how I'm going to look differently at my clients I've been working with, is that it's all about relationships. How do you cultivate and develop relationships with your audience and individual clients? And then Mars, what are their challenges? What are their problems? And if you don't know, then ask them. That's a big part of it, is just inquiry. Hey, what kind of challenges are you having? What can I help you with? And then you'll find out, and you'll be surprised that people are more than happy to tell you what their problems are. So really here, it's if business is one thing, it's like a human-centered or relationship-centered problem-solving service. And this comes through in the chart beautifully this way in the dynamic between Venus and Mars. This is for context because we're going to be shifting into what I call the client clarity roadmap of the practicals. This is also something that I like to bring to the table. My chart is quad left, as you can reference here. So the next chart is just going to be to reference as well, and as we're learning. So comment of also what your Mercury gates are as well, and then comment what's your Earth gates. So the Earth gates are the second down from the Sun gates at the top. So second one's down, your Earth gates. Because, okay, I thought it was the next slide, but this is a important disclaimer in that I've heard time and time again from multiple people the aversion or apprehension to wanting to limit who they work with or who their clients are. And I will tell you from experience that it's admirable and honorable to want to be working with everyone and not excluding anyone. But I hope that if you are feeling that in any way, that kind of pinch of like, I don't want this to not include everyone, well, I have no other way to say other than, especially on online, you have to narrow it down for people's benefit so they can find you, so they know what you're doing. And then at that point, then you can broaden it up a bit. So it doesn't mean you have to exclude anyone specifically, but here's a concrete example. If you limit the age range, say your ideal clients are typically 40 to 50 years old, that doesn't mean that you can only work with people who are 40 and 50 years old. I know that's obvious, but if you say I work with people who are 5 years old to 100 years old, it's like, it's too broad. Very different stages of life. But the purpose of this is to start to find the through threads or the patterns or the trends of who is it that you're attracting, who do you love to work with, and then you develop. The term art avatar is used often in business. I don't like that. I'm not particularly sure why, but archetype, I like the term archetype a little bit. What's the archetype of your client? And so if you probably heard, if you try to speak to everyone, like if you just go live on your Facebook profile and go public, you're just kind of not really speaking to anyone. And if you go, I'm just going to speak to all of Facebook, it's got to be specific. So something that was a epiphany for me was this phrase of you have to limit or refine your clients in order to expand. So going kind of in to refine, and then out, you can go out and expand within that particular demographic of clients. All right, this is the most practical thing that I could develop. It came from years of getting feedback from people of, I would present something as a resource or a guide, and it would be too much on the business side or too practical. And then the feedback I get is, well, how does this relate to my human design or something in my chart? So this is an example that I have for you. It's one of the resources as a guide at the end. I'll show you how to get. And then I'm going to, on the next slide, I'm going to go through a example that I have filled out. But I'd like you to look at the top left first. This is an important thing for anyone, especially doing human design, to integrate all of the components of your chart with yourself. It's kind of the same thing. It feels a little bit redundant, but it's you bring your chart alive with your life experience, all of your successes and failures, your accolades, things you know, what you like, what you don't like. That's all you. So you have to bring that to the table. So this is how you can map that out. All right, so if you take a look at the left side, it goes from left to right. You've got your, at the top, it's kind of as like a matrix. So at the top, you have where you would identify, components of who your clients are. And then at the bottom, this is where you would put in about you and your chart and about your planetary themes and the gates in your chart as well. Upper left starts out with the demographics. So if your clients have a particular title that they use, it could be educator, creative. Are they a psychic? Are they are they a doula? Do they have a particular title? Doesn't have to be one. I made the spaces kind of small so you don't get carried away and fill out tons of stuff. So just whatever is a main one or a starting point. What's their age range? Going within 10 years is good. That's what I recommend. And then public figures. What are some public figures that they might like? Richard Rudd, Karen Curry Parker. Comment in the chat, what are some public figures that you love? There might be some similarities of everyone that's here. Who's that other guy? I can't remember. Oh, well. Okay, then next, moving over to the next quadrant, their life experience and their career. What are some similar life experience they've had? What type of jobs have they had previously? Are there any patterns to that? Okay, third quadrant over, their challenges and their desires. That can be one and the same thing. A lot of times, whatever is a problem or a challenge for them is another side of the coin, that they actually want to move past that particular problem into what they really desire. So I found in doing this example, it was actually the same thing, the way I did it. Next, the fourth quadrant, so their story, because a lot of what you can offer for your clients is to help them redefine their story, tell a different story. Big one is just inspiring and motivating people out of procrastination. That's a big one, because that's very fifth line universal. Whatever problem is, like, it's just a matter of procrastination. So what's the story that they're telling themselves? How can you understand their story a little bit better? And then what beliefs do they have? Because a lot of times the beliefs are what can hold them back, that you can then be there as a trusted advisor to shift their beliefs for them, or have them believe in themselves a little bit more, just some support and encouragement. And then last, purpose and impact. I don't say everyone, but there's usually a deep desire to want to make some bigger impact. And this is really in your marketing and your messaging. What I suggest leaning towards more is, here's the outcome, here's the result, here's what can happen. And it usually revolves around health. This can improve your health, this can improve your relationships, or health, wealth. It can improve your wealth, health, wealth, and relationship. One of those categories. What are they here to do? What is their impact? What is their purpose? Okay, I'm going to shift to the example I have filled out to show you how I've done this. So for titles, again, not everyone that's I've worked with in the past is educators. It just seems to define people quite a bit, is that they are very knowledgeable or wise, and they want to share that message and they want to educate people. Ages 40 to 50. Have I worked with people who are outside that age range? Of course. But again, it's narrowing down this archetype, where you're finding like a meta archetype of who is a specific ideal client. Public figures, Karen Curry Parker, just because I enjoy doing quantum human design and kind of evolving the paradigm of human design out of the traditional old guard, you could say. Okay, some life experience, human design. Have been doing that for usually a year or two at least, because if someone's just starting out with human design, a lot of times they're overly psyched about learning everything about their chart. So it helps to have a little bit of foundational knowledge about human design first. 2, entrepreneurial, hence the simplicity of human design entrepreneurs. And then 3rd, careers. I haven't been able to really identify a specific career path other than after doing this type of work and analyzing any kind of trends of where have my clients previously worked. All I have found is that in speaking to them and getting their feedback is whatever they were doing, they weren't really fans of their careers. And they were either shifting to careers a lot or just wanted to get out of it, or that's the point. That's the purpose of wanting to be more entrepreneurial, is to do business for themselves. And 3rd quadrant, challenges and desires, growth, clients, revenue. That's what they're challenged by, and also the desire that they hold. The message and story, they want to integrate the basic principles of business with their human design and be themselves more. In the chat, if there's particular things that are coming to you that you want to integrate or incorporate into your message, or share with everyone, like what's the story behind your clients? Like what is it that they're contemplating? What do they think about? A good question to ask is what keeps them up at night? The thing they think about all the time, what keeps them awake? And what's the first thing they think of when they wake up? That's what they're looking for. Okay, and then same thing with their beliefs. What do your clients believe? What are their core beliefs? Are they good beliefs? Could they be shifted? So I always find that people have a deep belief in themselves. That's kind of what brings folks to human design in the first place, I find, is just that they love themselves so much and they found it in the system, and it's just, they love it. And I love it as well. And so they believe in themselves and they know they can do it. So a real level of confidence and determination, which you have to be. I mean, that's almost a pre-qualifier, like just determined and passionate to be an entrepreneur and start your own business, because it's not always the easy path, but they know they can't do it by themselves. So they're looking for the right kind of support. Universally, I find that there's a recognition of natural abilities, of people really want to share their natural abilities and their gifts, and they want to share that with their clients, and for that to be the heart of their business. Okay, moving on. This is something that you can fill out. I've done this with my chart at the bottom. This is how you can find the parallels and the overlaps of, put your human design type at the bottom left quadrant, and then because you're the foundation of your work. So it is about you in the sense, but it's also about other people. It's the paradoxical triadox. So the earth gates, that's in terms of experience, like what grounds you. Gate 31 for me is leadership. I've just I've attempted to move out of leadership positions, but I've just always found myself in that. It grounds me. Gate 28 is adventure or challenge. I'm always up for a good challenge, and that's something that grounds me as well. So then you also have Mars and Moon gates of what are your challenges? What are you wanting to be more aware of? Is your personal challenge the same thing, perhaps, as far as what you offer, what problem you solve? And then what drives you? What really is going to make your business sustainable for you, that you can work? If energy wasn't a question, you could work with as many clients as possible all day long because you're just so driven by it. That's the energy that attracts. It's infectious how driven you are by what you're doing. That's the electromagnetic attraction, is your passion and you being deeply moved by the work that you do. And then I'm going to move on because I've gone on this slide quite a bit. So Mercury is your communication. So this has to do with like copywriting, as far as how you translate that into your messaging, because it's what you're here to speak about. Gate 19 is attunement. Gate 51 is about initiation. As I love doing chart readings because I find it's like attuning people to themselves, to their own wisdom, to their own life path, and an initiatic experience of just having a chart reading of initiated into your own life. And I'm here to support you. Venus, relationship, and then Sun, purpose. What impact are you here to make? Okay, defining the practicals. This is where it's very point value. Can you give your ideal clients a specific name? Could it be Susie, Carissa, Michael, Jennifer? Any name. And if it seems silly, just try it out. Comment and let me know, does your client have a specific name? Or is there a favorite client that you've worked with in the past? If you can develop like 3 or 4 of your favorite clients you've worked with in the past and start to find a narrative or the archetype of what do they all have in common. Here's a practical suggestion for a statement of I help, or you can use alternative action words. And I would love to see some of these in the comments afterwards. I do read all the comments and I'll give feedback on things that you share. And so if you give me this statement, I would love to look at it. And if you would like a suggestion on it, I will offer that. So alternative action words for help, because that's kind of general, is I guide, I teach, I coach, I facilitate, I energize, whatever word works for you. It can be interchangeable. I go guide. That works for me. So I guide, and the next would be, what's the result? What do you provide? Is helping people grow their business is what I offer. And then with what skill set? What's the specific skill set that you have? So in this example, it's by using their human design chart or doing human design readings. Other good questions to ask yourself, again, age range, 3 core biggest challenges, 3 core desires, what public figures do they like? And this is the last one. I really encourage you to ask yourself this question, because even if you're hypothetically 100% clear on who your ideal clients are, then there's the question of, where are they? How do I find them? Facebook groups or communities are a great place to look, because a lot of that work is already done for you, because that's where people would congregate already that have shared interests. So what Facebook groups are they in? This is an example of defining your archetype. So here's 3 clients, Erica, Jennifer, and Sam. Erica's 43 years old. She's been doing human design for 4 years. She's an entrepreneur and a coach. Jennifer's 49 years old. She's been doing human design for 8 years, entrepreneur, and she is an educator. And then Sam, he's 46, human design for 2 years, entrepreneur and artist. So that's 3 examples. So the question you want to ask yourself is, what do they all have in common? All 3 of these clients are between 40 and 50 years old. That's the range. They all do human design. They're all entrepreneurial, and they refer to themselves with titles of either coaches, educators, or creatives or artists. So this is the one thing I hope you walk away with, is analyzing the patterns and the trends to identify a meta archetype. All right, that concludes the formality of the training. And so this, if you would love to learn more or have a conversation about what this could look like to have one-on-one guidance, because again, this has been as personal as I can make it on a large training of this fashion. But if you're looking for specifics on your chart and your business, what I offer is the Human Design Entrepreneur's 90-day, I call it the self-exploration roadmap, because it's very personalized to you and where is it that you're wanting and needing to go and pivot to on the roadmap ultimately. It's 5-6 phases total, and the 3 and 4 phases are where we'd be focusing mostly on this topic today, about your clients, about your audience, how to attract them. And then that kind of sets you in motion to be able to scale your business and ultimately grow. Okay, an overview of the 12 weeks of what you'd receive from working one-on-one in this guidance course is starts out with an in-depth human design reading. that really sets the tone. And so the 3 months together is all focused on your chart specifically. So I'm not giving generic traditional type of advice. It's all about you and your business. We'll go into defining your specific clients, defining your offer, is that clear? And then a process of efficient client flow. What's the most efficient way for you to bring in clients to your business? So you take the guesswork out of it. So you're not having to guess like, what do I post? What do I do? Taking the guesswork out of it so it's efficient. And then you have messenger support with me Monday through Friday. That's outside of our bi-weekly sessions that we'd have. So every 2 weeks, we would meet on these themes of the roadmap. And then in between that is rest and integration, applying what we've discussed together. And then in between that for feedback or things you want to share, available through Messenger. Okay, and the bonuses that I have, and in addition to a guarantee, I want to emphasize that it's for qualified individuals after we're able to talk and meet a little bit for people who are qualified, because I'm not able to work with everyone. But for anyone who's participating on this training today, I have a $500 bonus off the investment. And then another is the human design reading, and then messenger support Monday through Friday, and then 3 guides on human design and your business. So this is really something that an offer that I've developed to ensure as much as possible that you're successful. And so if you qualify, if you book a call together and we decide, if this is going to be good timing, if this is the right thing for you to do, the right decision, then I will work with you for additional weeks until you receive the full investment from the 90-day roadmap from your own revenue. Again, I'm not able to offer this to everyone, and this offer is ending November 8th. That's next Wednesday at midnight. But you can comment roadmap in the chat right now, or you can just send me a private message to be first in line, because once the promotion starts going, I honestly have a lot of messages. I'm not able to get to everyone. But if you're first in line, if you comment roadmap here, or if you don't want to comment, you just want to send me a private message, I will check that right after this this training, and I'll do a brief assessment on your business, and we'll be in touch on Messenger. As I've shared, this can be a pivotal move in your life and your business, just to have the assessment to start the conversation. So if you're on the fence at all, I'd be happy to talk with you, to have a call, to understand, very much what it is you want to focus on, where you're feeling stuck in your business. That alone, just having a conversation and doing a brief assessment, that could be what you're looking for, possibly to move you to the next level in your business. So again, what's offered or provided for you in the roadmap is you'll really understand your human design type more and how you're uniquely built to run a successful business. We'll take an in-depth look at your message and your copywriting. We'll craft your offer so it's in alignment. It's congruent with everything else in your business, so it all feels like it matches and it's clear to people in your audience. And then we'll develop a specific game plan of like, what's the best way to get your offer in front of your audience and then grow your audience simultaneously and as efficiently and as expeditiously as possible to move you into the regular client attraction mode. So you know where your clients are coming from on any given month. Again, the bonuses are $500 off for anyone who's on this training right now. And you have the human design reading and then messenger support outside of our one-on-one sessions. And if you're qualified after the assessment and we have an approval call together, then I have a guarantee I'll work with you until you receive the full investment back from your own revenue. All right. So you'll also, if you comment guide, and if you could do this, it would be very helpful if you could do it in all capital letters, the word guide. If you would like, after this training, I'll send you, either myself or Tori in the comments, and then Messenger will send you a copy of all the slides that we've gone over today, the client clarity roadmap, which is that matrix here to the right, and then an ideal target client guide that'll ask you some core questions, find further clarity, and then the audience and marketing by design workbook. So comment guide in all caps if you'd like to receive these free resources. Any additional comments, feedbacks, things you want to know? I will read all the comments afterwards. I'd really love to know any big takeaways, any realizations, epiphanies, things that you liked about this training, things you'd like to see different. I thrive on everyone's feedback. And I absolutely love hearing from people in the community, because it shapes and guides and dictates more of what I'm able to do, and you know, it'll set the pace for future trainings as well. So I'd love to hear from you. The specific calls to everyone right now is, if you'd like to have a call together on you know, learning more about the roadmap, seeing if this would be a good decision for you, you can comment roadmap, or you can send me a private message and we'll talk. And then guide is if you'd like to receive the free resources as well, and we'll talk a bit then as well. That concludes this training for today on defining your ideal clients. Thank you so much to everybody who is in attendance, who watches this later, and for being you know, an active, engaged member in the community, and even more so for being yourself, being your own leader, and just sharing your passions and what you do with the world. It honestly inspires me more than you know. So I hope you enjoyed this training, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the comments. Take care.